안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. It's Natalia. So I'm here with my roommate, Riley.
We're not roommates anymore.
Hey! She said we're not roommates anymore if you couldn't hear her. Which, I mean, technically we're not, but I'm not gonna say ex-roommate. That sounds so
I know, I was
negative.
I kept saying, I was like, oh, my roommate said this. And I was like, wait, just kidding. Ex-roommate.
Oh, is that the... Okay. Anyway, we're on our way to go get our vaccinations, like, registered with the Korean government so we can have a vaccine pass. And I think we just found a line. Okay. We had to go talk to people. We'll be back. Hello. So that was a crazy intro to this vlog, but I'm gonna keep it in because it sets context for what I want to talk about right here, right now. So registering my vaccination status with the Korean government. So as you guys know, at the time I'm filming this, I've been here for almost 5 months now. Oh yeah, almost 5 months. And the Korean government would not recognize my vaccination status. So Korea was not recognizing foreign residents who were vaccinated abroad unless they entered the country with a quarantine exemption, which is extremely hard to get. So yeah, most people don't have it. And this was a big issue, just for context. So this was a big issue because Korean citizens vaccinated abroad were allowed to be considered vaccinated, but foreign people who were vaccinated in their home countries weren't allowed to be considered vaccinated on the basis that it's too hard to verify that they're actually vaccinated, which is ridiculous if they're gonna allow Korean citizens to be considered vaccinated, because it's the same exact paperwork. If I put it simply, if I had been Korean, I would have been verified with no problems. It's the fact that I was American that they were not willing to recognize my vaccination status, and it was all foreign residents. If you're a German person who was vaccinated in Germany, you're not vaccinated in the eyes of the Korean government. Even though a Korean citizen could fly to Germany, get vaccinated, go back to Korea, have the exact same paperwork, and they'd be like, oh yeah, they're vaccinated, but you, the German, you're not vaccinated. Yeah, you can look into that, but basically, given the COVID regulations that went into effect on Monday, which are rather extreme, I understand why they're put in place, but they are rather extreme if you're not vaccinated. There are several embassies, so the US Embassy, the Indian Embassy, the Australian, the UK, I think there was 1 or 2 others. They called Korea out, saying that they were discriminating against foreign residents in deciding to not acknowledge their vaccination status when they were willing to acknowledge Korean citizens' vaccination status if they were like vaccinated abroad. So Korea was like, oh snap. And they were like, fine, we will acknowledge like the vaccination status of foreign residents if they can provide us with a form of identification and their vaccination documents. I keep wanting to say soryu, like the Korean word for it, but so yeah, anyway, so starting yesterday afternoon, we were allowed to finally go in and get our vaccination status recognized by the Korean government. So the process was actually rather simple. I went in, they directed me what floor to go to, and once I got there, all they wanted to see was that little like CDC card. So for me, my little like, you know, she's vaccinated card and my alien registration card. If you don't have your alien registration card, you can still be recognized. If you have like your passport or some kind of form of identification, but you just won't have it linked to the Ewha app, which is the vaccination authentication app here in Korea through like the Korean government that links to your QR code. So even if you don't have your ARC yet, go in anyway. They'll give you a piece of paper, you can carry it around with you so that you can still go into establishments, because if you're not here in Korea, you might not know what those new regulations are that just went into effect, but they basically say if you're not vaccinated, you can't go into a cafe with a group of people, you cannot go into a restaurant with a group of people, you always have to be alone. And then there's other like facilities that they say you can't enter at all, even if you're alone. You just can't go in. So really strict restrictions. And there are other like measures also included in those restrictions, but I don't think they're relevant to like what I'm trying to talk about. But yeah, basically it was very frustrating being here this long and being told that my documentation wasn't good enough, even though it would be good enough if I was Korean. But anyway, we are here in Myeongdong, as you've probably been wondering where we are, because I have a nail appointment to get Christmas nails in like the next 30 minutes. So we're gonna head that way. We're gonna see what is left of Myeongdong, which is very like eerie being here, because the last time I was here, which I brought you guys, last time I was here there were thousands of people, and now there's not. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can leave them below about like the vaccination pass and Coop app and stuff. I'll try my best to answer them, and hopefully other people that are here that can answer those questions will answer them as well. But let's take a look around Myeongdong.
I remember the day when we started talking. We were kids and I knocked down all of your marbles, but you did not seem to mind at all. We took our bikes to the lake after school each day and skipped many stones from the beach.
So the street we're currently walking on used to be full of like street food, and now there's only a few vendors. It's really creepy. It's not creepy, like there are clearly like people around and businesses open, but knowing what it used to be, it's kind of eerie. But I think it's kind of interesting that they still have the tourist people out like and around ready to help people, like the people that wear all red and are just meant to like help tourists out, like they're still here walking around.
2 a.m. in the car playing our favorite song. Turn it up, windows down, we sing along.
Not into the dark alley.
That has just begun. The moon is bright, let's have some fun.
Hi, little Mia. Hi. How are you?
So alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go. Calling sick in the morning, baby don't leave.
안전은 영입니다. 발바닥 주의.
At first I said that I love you and you ain't say that.
Okay friends, so we got our nails done. I hope the clip that I showed you was nice. Maybe it wasn't. But we have come to Sinchon now to visit Audrey. Oh my gosh. So I think I've said this before, but Audrey attends Yonsei University. And I can most definitely say that because she tells people that on Instagram, and it's a public Instagram. But anyway, she is heading over from their Seoul campus right now, because when you're a fresh Yonsei, you have to be in Incheon. And then once you're a junior, which Audrey is officially a junior now, oh my god, I'm out of breath from the stairs. You are allowed to move to the Seoul campus, which is like the big one. But okay, she's like 40 minutes away because her bus was super late. So we're gonna find a cafe to hang out at until she can get here. Oh my god, the stairs. Okay. I don't know who needs this information, but there's a Sephora here. Don't worry, there's a Sephora. Okay, I don't know if you guys got the gist from the last few clips, but there was a little display for V's birthday, which is like coming up. Wow. There's so much here. I've never actually been in Sinchon before. I've been to like Ide, which is next, like the stop over. It's where Ewha Women's University is, because there's a lot of like cute clothing boutiques there, or at least there were the last time I went before the panorama. But okay, we're still on the hunt for a cafe. There's like a billion, so I don't know why I say we're on the hunt like they're hard to find, because they're not. But look, there's Audrey. So I found Adri, or rather Adri found me. Yes. How exhausted are you? Very. So I didn't give context on why she was coming from Seoul last time, or when I was talking about it earlier. She's moving tip right now. Yeah. So like 천천히 조금씩 like
literally
moving stuff.
3 times already I've been to Seoul this week.
Yeah, like moving her chin from Seoul to like her new housing here by Yonsei. So yeah, 조금씩 she's moving just like me. But I was moving like within the same neighborhood. You were like, you're changing cities.
Yeah, it's like a whole hour. Oh my god.
Oh my god. But
It's fine.
it's fine. You survived.
I'm surviving.
And now we can do this. We can get dinner. You guys probably thought that she was already like in Seoul or something because we hang out a lot, but no. She's a completely different city. It's like 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours.
And it's almost like 2.5 coming from Annam. It's so far.
Yeah. Oh no.
But anyway, we're on the hunt for food. Right. Food. I'm so hungry.
That's the place.
I've only had a salad. Oh, where?
Again.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to say, I've only had a salad today, which we all know doesn't have a lot of, I was gonna say meat, but I literally chose not to eat the meat, so it's my fault. Adri's doing her samgyeopsal dance. Yay! To get my nails done.
Yeah. Damaged. One man's trash is another man's baggage. Slow you down, I ain't going no.
Guys, guess where we are? It's my house? House? I don't think it's your house.
No, it's
Home.
my home.
Home. It's your home.
Why is it house? My brain trouble.
If you couldn't guess from the sign, we're at Yonsei. Yes. She's gonna give me a little mini tour of her beloved school.
Yes, Yonsei Pride.
Yonsei Pride. I was telling her I should have wore like my KU jacket. I would have gotten so many stares.
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat. Excuse me.
Kitty cat.
Ma'am, yours is an eagle.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't say anything because I'm American. God damn it.
I'm looking at you. Waiting for you to say something.
Gosh darn it.
Very good.
Anyway, we're gonna walk. Bring you along.
TNT going off in here. Ain't we up there? Cause you always wanna touch me. My thorns will leave you bleeding. That's why I'm always leaving. Believe me, cause you always wanna touch me. My thorns will leave you bleeding. That's why I'm always leaving. Believe me. One more shot, one more.
Hello. Hi, welcome to the Q&A portion of this video. Originally, I planned on vlogging more, but the end of the break snuck up on me, and now classes start tomorrow, and I have nothing to vlog because I'm kind of trying to stay home. So yeah, I thought I could do a little mini Q&A built or made up of some of the questions that I get asked a lot on Instagram. And I'd like to mention, on Instagram, I've mentioned multiple times that I'm preparing 2 videos for you guys. One is a general moving to Korea video based on the questions that you guys have asked me or just things that you've mentioned to me that you would like me to talk about. And then the other one is specifically about Korea University's Korean language program, also based on what you guys told me you want to know more about or questions that you have. So this specific Q&A is gonna be just about like general moving to Korea questions. All of this should be in the general moving video, but yeah, I wanted to pull a few for you. Anyway, I'm gonna try and be as honest as I can about my experiences. So the first question that I pulled was, were you scared to quit your job and move? Can someone do this when they don't know anyone in Korea? Okie dokie. So if you only started watching my channel after I came to Korea, then you might not know this, But before coming to Korea, I was working in supply chain management. My specific field was procurement or purchasing or sourcing. It goes by various different, by various titles, various names, but that's basically what I was doing. I graduated from university with a supply chain major and I wanted to go into procurement, and that's what I did. So yeah, I was an office worker since I graduated up until I left for Korea. So for me, I guess you could say, yeah, I think this is probably the same for anybody, but quitting your job, think about it like this. I was like, yes, mom and dad, I'm gonna quit my salary job, the job in my field, in my major, to go study Korean all day, every day. And no, it doesn't come with a degree, and no, there's no like guaranteed job prospects, but I just want to go study Korean. No, I mean, you guys know, I mentioned this in my moving video, a big reason I wanted to attend language school is because I want to do my graduate studies here, and I've wanted to do that since before I graduated with my undergrad degree. So there's a big plan. It's not like I just decided on a whim like I'm gonna go to language school. It's like it's part of a bigger plan. So that helped me feel a little bit more confident in my decision to leave my job. But at the same time, it's still very scary. I wouldn't say I was scared to move because as you guys may or may not know, I have lived here before. I was an exchange student in Korea back in 2016 for a whole year, which is where this second part of the question comes in, where it says, can someone do this when they don't know anyone in Korea? Like, I have a lot of Korean friends. I think almost all, if not all, the Korean people that you see in my vlogs are like friends that I made when I was studying abroad. So yeah, that's the context of the second part of this question. So can you do this when you don't know anyone in Korea? Honestly, yes, you can. A lot of the students in my program came here not knowing anybody. Does it make it harder? Yes, extremely. Like, my friend Maddie, who you guys have seen in multiple vlogs, she helped me so much in terms of moving to Korea. And I'll talk about this more in the next question, but I honestly, like, I've lived here before. I have visited multiple times since I've lived here. As you guys have seen on my channel, like, I've vlogged both those trips. And I definitely came in with this idea of like, I'm not gonna need that much help. Like, I already have an idea of how things work here. I have like friends who live here. Like, I was basically very like, this isn't my first rodeo. Like, I'm good. Like, obviously I'm gonna need some help, but I'm not gonna need that much help. But I did. So lots of my friends were able to kind of like step in and offer me some guidance and stuff, which if you're coming here alone where you don't know anybody, especially if you don't know another foreign person who's gone through what you're going to go through or are going through once you get here, it can be really hard. Overall, like, yes, you can definitely do it. I guess don't make that stop you from coming, like, just because you don't know anybody, because trust me, you'll meet people. Like, you'd be surprised how quickly you will make other foreign friends, like foreign in terms of other expat people here, which I know some people might think, oh, but I just want to make Korean friends because I'm trying to learn Korean. Like, yeah, I understand that point of view, but also you're gonna want other foreign friends because they can understand what you're going through. Unlike Korean people, like, there's just certain things that Korean friends can't help you with or they just aren't aware of. So you're gonna want to make those foreign friends. But yeah, I hope that kind of answered your question. So the next question was, what's been the most challenging thing you've experienced since making the move? Okay. So just getting everything set up. So like I just mentioned, I came in with this idea that things were gonna be pretty like smooth sailing. Like, I knew there were gonna be a few challenges here and there, especially with like paperwork and the fact that there's like a pandemic making things like slower, and like restrictions are always changing and new policies are put in place and then they're changed and then they're just completely trashed, and like I knew that was gonna be an issue. But I did not anticipate so many issues with like simple things, like setting up my bank account. I know I say this a lot, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will know what I'm talking about because I've talked about this multiple times. But when you first come to KU, you are asked to set up your bank account, right? So when we first went in to set up our bank account upon arriving, the bank told us we couldn't make our accounts. I had to be like, why? Like the school wants me to ask you why, because other students had tried and they told them no, but their Korean wasn't as good as mine, so they couldn't explain why. So I had to go in there and be like, but why can't we make our account? I was like, our school told us to come in here today to make this account because they need to transfer refunds into our accounts, like if you overpaid on tuition and stuff like that. I think it had to do with it being like KU's Hana Bank, like their branch. It was something about like the way it lines up with the semester or something. And they were like, oh, we only started making accounts after this certain day of the semester. And they were saying like, it's not just you guys, this is like the same for Korean students as well. Like, it's just our policy. And then once that date came, I went in to make an account and I found out they were like, I still had a very limited account. Like they made me one, but I didn't get like a card. Like I didn't get a card I could swipe. I couldn't do online banking. I couldn't make online purchases. Like there were so many things I couldn't do. Basically all I had was just like an account and a 통장, which is like a little bank book. So let me grab my 통장 so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is called a 통장, or like a bank book. There's no like sensitive information on the front, but this is basically what it looks like. You open it and you can use it to like deposit money into your account, withdraw money from your account, and basically the ATM will print on it saying like what your balance is and things like that. I guess you can kind of think of it as a little checkbook, but you don't write any checks. It's like a record keeper, basically. So this is what I used if I wanted to put money into my bank account or take it out, which was super odd to me because when I was an exchange student, like this, yes, we had one of these, but they gave us a card immediately, even without our ARC or alien registration card. But this time around, Hana Bank, which granted it's a different bank than the one I had or was using when I was an exchange student, Hana Bank said they could not give me an actual like debit card or a checking card, which is what they call it here. They call it a check, like 체크카드. They told me they couldn't give me a 체크카드 until I brought them my alien registration card, which was completely different from what had happened when I was an exchange student. Like when I was an exchange student, I arrived like on a Tuesday, and on Wednesday the school had us all opening bank accounts. Like we got our 통장, of course, and then we also got a little debit card that we could use immediately, like without the ARC number. But I don't know if policies changed or if it's just like a Hana Bank thing. You guys tell me if you live in Korea or if you've ever studied here. Let me know what your experience was. But yeah, they told us we couldn't do a lot of things until we brought in our ARCs. Once I got my ARC, I was able to go into the bank and ask them to make me a card. Like I had to fill out some forms, a lot of forms actually. I got my bank card. I asked them to set up online banking because apparently that's not standard. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, if you don't tell them to set up online banking, there's a good chance they won't do it because you have to like 가입 for it, which means register. So I asked them to set that up for me. So now I can use the Hana Bank app. And I remember at the bank I asked like, okay, now can I 이체? Which 이체 means like transfer. So this is really different from when I was an exchange student, but now like transferring money directly to someone else's bank account is like a normal form of payment. Like you'll go into a store and you'll see like this really long account number, and it's like you can go in and you can like pay with cash, or you can pay with card, or you can 송금 or 이체 the money, meaning you directly transfer money from your account to the store's account or to that person's account. But I've been needing that to like reserve my lash appointments and like to get my nails done and stuff, because a lot of places are asking for like reservation fees, which I get but also I was like, I can't iche you anything until I get my ARC, so I had friends iche-ing money for me. So I asked them, like, there in the bank when I was setting everything up and online banking, I was like, can I iche now? And they're like, yes, but you can only send up to 300,000 won a day because your account is limited up until you've had it for over 3 months for some reason. I think it's like for money laundering purposes. They're like, want to make sure I'm not gonna do something illegal or something. I don't know. But they told me yes. And then once I actually was out in the wild, I needed to iche money for my phone plan. Like, they didn't accept card, they didn't accept cash. They were like, you have to be like transfer the registration fee for your phone number to this account. I was like, okay. I tried to do it and the transfer like system on my app wasn't set up. I needed to do some sort of like authentication certificate or like an 인증서, and I didn't know that. And I was having so many issues trying to set it up right there in like the KT store, or like the, I guess you could think of it the same as like a T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, that type of store, like a phone service store. So embarrassing. I'm trying to like get all of that together and I couldn't get it done, and my friend Green ended up helping me set it up later because I was having so many issues. Things like that. I'm sorry, I went into like a rabbit hole about my bank account because it's been so many issues with the bank. Oh my gosh, can I add one more thing about the bank? Okay, so in line with the online banking stuff, I found out I have to have multiple bank apps. It's not just like one app, there's like 5. So you have one that's like your basic Hana Bank app, which is like where you iche money. It's where you can like see all the movement of your money, things like that. And then there's another app called Hana Pay, which you need if you want to buy stuff online. Like, there are certain websites where it won't ask you to pay through Hana Pay, like Coupang, for example. Coupang, I can just put my Hana Bank card number into Coupang and buy things with no problem. But when I tried to buy my desk, which I won't show you right now, but when I tried to buy stuff off IKEA would not take my card number. It was like, error, error. It would only let me pay through Hana Pay. And the bank, when I asked them, can I make purchases online and stuff, they said yes, and they didn't tell me that I needed to download a whole nother app, which I had to register for and make a new password for and all this stuff in order to buy things online. Oh my god, I ended up getting locked out of my account because when I found out I did need this app, thank you Maddie, when I tried to log in, the login was supposed to be different, and it was a hot mess. I ended up having to call the bank and be like, what's going on? And don't worry, there's an English line, so you do not have to go in there and like try to do everything in Korean. But it was a real headache to like, again, it was like in the moment I needed to do something, I found out that the bank didn't tell me that I needed to set something up. Anyway, and then there's some other apps, but I won't talk about those right now because I've talked too much about banking now. But like little things like that have been really stressful because they were things that I wasn't anticipating, and then they always come up when I'm not expecting them. It's like I try to do something and then there's like a roadblock and I'm like, oh, and then I try to do something else and then like there's another roadblock, and it's like. The next question was, what is something you wish you had packed or something you could recommend someone pack? Okay, so there were only 2 things that I wish I had packed more of before coming. The first one was makeup wipes. So I like to use those Neutrogena makeup wipes to like fix my eyeliner. So instead of using concealer, I'll take like the edge of the makeup wipe and I'll just be like, phew, to make it thinner. And I thought that I'd be able to find similar makeup wipes, if not those exact same makeup wipes here, but I haven't. And as far as I know, there are no Neutrogena makeup wipes here, which is really weird because they have tons of Neutrogena products. But they're either like too dry or they're too like saturated with product to where like it just makes the whole like wing crazy looking. So my mom sent me like 5 packages of Neutrogena makeup wipes to help me do my eyeliner. a while back. God bless. Thank you, Mom. And then the other thing I wish I'd packed more of was Panaxil, which is like an acne cleanser with like benzoyl peroxide. I figured that I'd be able to get one here, but so far I have not found one. So my mom has also sent me like 4 of those, just because they really help with like my face. And as you can see, it's kind of breaking out right now because finals like legit killed my skin. Like I swear all these pimples came up overnight and they haven't gone away yet. Like they're starting to go away, but like stress, man. So I also wanted to talk about a few things that I like binge purchased with the intent of like bringing a lot of them here with me. Just because I know if you've never been here before, you might not know what you should bring with you. So one thing that I brought a lot of was tights. Like I brought so many tights with me, like those sheer black tights and like skin color tights. So there are lots of tights here. Like it's very trendy to wear them. You can definitely find them in your size. If you're like, I want to say maybe like up to a size 10 should be relatively easy to find. I might regret saying that later, but like I've always been able to find tights here, but whenever I look for them, I always have to try like 6 or 7 different brands of tights until I find the ones that fit my body, whether it's like they're too short or like the thigh part is too small for my thigh. It's weird. Like a lot of the tights here are either free size, or they'll have like small, medium, and then like, or medium, large, but like they're Asian sizes. So I kind of just didn't want to go through that. I just brought a ton of like Target tights with me that I'm like, yes, I will look for tights, like Korean tights that fit me, but also if I really need tights, I have my Target tights. Also, if you're very, very tall, or if you are on the like larger than like the average Korean girl, or like, let's say like 8'10" and over, because like I feel like 8'10" is kind of the line for tights here. If you go over, like you can definitely find your size here, but they're gonna be harder to find. Like you're probably gonna have to order them online from some like plus size website. And I say plus size because I don't really think it's plus size. It's like normal, like American size, but for Korea it's plus size. The other thing I brought a lot of was my foundation. So I use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. You can actually get like all of Estee Lauder's products here. Honestly, any department store makeup or skincare that you can get in the US, you can get here. The only difference is in the US, my foundation is about $40 to $45, and in Korea it's 80,000 won, which is like about twice the cost. So I brought like 3 or 4 bottles of it because I just didn't want to pay 80,000 won. The next thing that I brought a lot of with me were pants. Pants, yes. So in my experience, like the boutiques that you see lining the streets in like Hongdae or Myeongdong, if Myeongdong ever recovers, or any like kind of like hip vibed like area in Korea, the biggest size you're gonna find in terms of bottoms is gonna be like a 4, maybe a 6, depending on like the way your body is shaped. For me, I am a pear. I am currently size 6, yeah, I would say like 6, 8 in pants, and I am 5'3" or 160 centimeters, and I'm like right on that line, guys. Like I'm on the line where like the pants might fit me or they might not. Like the last time I tried on pants here was a few months ago, and I want to say around that time I was more of like a 8, 10. I've lost some weight since then, but like it was at that time, it was like most pants didn't fit me, but I might find like 1 or 2 pairs in the whole day that will fit me. Or like if they did fit me, they kind of fit kind of funny where like I shouldn't be wearing them, you know, like they just look not good. Yeah, if you're larger than a size like US 4-6, then you might want to bring a lot of pants with you just to get you started. There are bigger sizes here, but again, like I said earlier, you're probably gonna have to get them online, or you're gonna have to shop at like H&M, which there are H&M like stores all over the place here. Like if you like shopping there, you will have no problem finding pants, but if you don't want their pants, you're probably gonna have to order pants online. I wanna say I brought 10 pairs, if not more than 10 pairs, because I'm low-key traumatized because when I was in exchange, for some reason I thought 4 pairs of pants would be enough for the whole semester. Natalia, no. Bring more than 4 pairs of pants. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about are things that you don't need to bring with you. Like, there's a few things that I've heard online over the years that are like, you need to bring this with you to Korea because they don't have it, but like we totally have it here. So I don't know if maybe just at the time these products weren't as easily available, but given the current like situation, the current Korea, you don't need to bring these things with you. The first thing is deodorant. There's deodorant here. You can get it easily at like any Olive Young. The only thing I have to say is you're not gonna have like a ginormous selection like you would have in the US, for example. It's not like literally like a whole aisle or anything like that. Usually it's just like a small section, but like you'll still see brands that you'll see in the US or I guess in the Western world. So it's not like completely brands you've never seen before. The only reason I would bring deodorant or like a lot of deodorant from home is if you have very, very sensitive skin, because if that's the case, it might take you a little time to see like what deodorants here are going to be able to, like what will work well with your skin. For most of us, we don't need to bring deodorant to Korea. You can find it here. I've used it. It's fine. The next thing is department store makeup and skincare. As I mentioned, like all the department store stuff you can get here. And then on top of that, guys, you can still get Western makeup here. Like there are Sephoras here in Seoul. Like just type in like Sephora into like Naver Maps and you'll see several locations. They're pretty big. They carry almost the exact same brands as Sephora in the United States. And I know I keep saying in the United States, but I've really just never been anywhere other than Korea and the United States. So sorry, that's my reference point. But they carry basically all the same brands. The next question is, do you think you'll ever move back to the United States? Yes. I love Korea. Clearly, like I've done a lot to get here and I would like to stay here, but in the end, I want to go back home. Like Korea is like my home away from a home, but Korea doesn't seem like a great place to grow old in, for starters. Also, like I currently don't want kids, but if I ever end up wanting kids, I don't want them to go through Korea's education system. I've seen what it's done to like my Korean friends. I've seen like the stress that they go through, and I don't want that for my kids. I want them to have the fun like childhood experience that I had growing up. Like in the United States, like we have our own problems, but I had a very like fun time. Like, was I stressed? Yes, but it does not compare to what they go through here. Okay, last question, because I'm supposed to meet my roommate for dinner in exactly 9 minutes and I need to change. How's living in Korea with COVID different than before? So like I said, I was here in 2016. I visited multiple times in 2019 before like the pandemic, God bless. But life here, I feel like on the surface, it's relatively the same, but there's so many things that are different, just like in regards to COVID. So like obviously, yes, like we have to check in with our QR codes or an 안심번호, which means like you just call the number and it says like, oh, 등록 완료되었습니다 or whatever, meaning like, okay, you've like checked in through your phone call, or like you have to sign a piece of paper if you don't have a QR code, which I'll talk about this stuff more in the general moving video. But there's that. And then for Seoul, the COVID restrictions are always changing. So when I first got here, like the curfew was 9 p.m. Like everything's just like basically shut down at 9 p.m. You couldn't go to cafes after 9. You couldn't go into restaurants after 9. Like only certain types of stores were open after 9. And if you are familiar with Korea, which I'm sure like most of you already know this, like a lot of places are used to being opened 24 hours, or they're used to being open until like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So for me coming back and like being like, oh my gosh, like I have to make sure that I have dinner by 8. Like I need to go into a restaurant and I've ordered by 8 in order to eat and be like out of the restaurant before it hits 9 p.m. And things like that were very, very different. There were restrictions, or there are restrictions on how many people you can meet with. So when I first came, you could only be with 4 people at a time. And then after 6 p.m., is it 5 or after 5 or 6 p.m., I can't remember which one it was, you could only be with one other person. So just like a couple, if you guys weren't vaccinated, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog, international or foreign residents were not considered vaccinated, even if they were vaccinated at that time. Like, it just made things really hard because you'd want to hang out with a friend or several friends and you couldn't because either you weren't vaccinated or you weren't recognized as vaccinated, which again, like I completely understand the reasoning for these restrictions, but it was like very, well, considering I was vaccinated, it was very frustrating because I had to follow restrictions that like didn't actually match my vaccination status. But like in terms of like Korea being different, the restrictions also led to Koreans kind of like looking at groups of foreigners with like this like eye of like, are they breaking restrictions? Are they like, you could just, the discrimination has been a lot more evident than it was before. Like before, I never felt like I was being discriminated against. Like there were little things where I was like, okay, this person doesn't want to talk to me, but it was never like a really strong negative feeling that I got from other people. And it doesn't happen a lot here. Like I haven't experienced it a lot, but I'm very aware of it. Like there's one cafe here in Annam that I'm very confident only tells foreign people that they need to keep their masks on. Like obviously everyone needs to keep their mask on when they're not like drinking their drink or eating their cake or whatever, but they make a point to tell foreign people when they order, like, don't take your mask off, which is very, it makes you feel really unwelcome. Like obviously I'm not going to take my mask off, or like, I don't know, it's like we're several years into the pandemic. Like I think we know that. It's just the fact that they're not telling the Korean people that, like, it just like really hurts my heart, I guess, like to be like, yeah, I know, like I want the pandemic to be over just as much as you do. Yeah, it's like things like that kind of just feel a little more like unwelcome. This is really heartbreaking because it's like I love Korea and I love learning Korean and I feel like you hate me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not all the time. It's just like sometimes you get a vibe from someone and you're like, okay. All right, I'm supposed to meet my roommate in exactly 4 minutes and I need to change, so I'm gonna go. I'm sorry I didn't answer all the questions that I wanted to answer, but hopefully you learned a little bit from this Q&A. Yeah, and again, I tried to be very, very honest, so if my answers were not concise, or if I looked like I went on tangents all the time, it's because I did, and because it wasn't concise, and it wasn't, yeah, okay, I need to go find some pants. I'm in some sweatpants right now, so I'll see you guys in the next video. 다음에 봐요, guys. Bye.